Hello, welcome to Amateur Hour 25. Oklahoma wins the Red River rivalry. Iowa loves their tight ends, and Cyclones win for Jack Trice. How you guys feeling?
Hell yeah.
Good weekend.
Good weekend?
Yes.
Well, you also had a bounce castle at your house, so that made your weekend a little bit better.
Yeah, I didn't have to watch the Vikings and the Chiefs game. I just bounced all Sunday afternoon.
Bounce the pain away, right?
Yep. I had fun. Vikings did not.
No, well, the good news is you didn't lose the game. The refs won the game on that one. That's what I heard on Twitter. I've noticed the trend.
Because
What's
it's
that?
true.
Yeah. Last 5 years, the Chiefs are the only team that's never won a game outright. It's the referees every single time.
You
Hey,
consider
you're
yourself
on.
lucky.
Yeah. That's the Mahomes effect, baby. But
Mhm.
well, let's keep it on college football and keep it civil here. We might be breaking out into fight if we keep talking Chiefs Vikings. But now this one, I'll say this is kind of a broad overall one. I think this one's pretty simple, but I guess you guys will show me here. Who has the most wins in college football history, and how many wins do they have?
Are you saying teams or coaches?
Team,
Oh.
school,
Michigan.
Michigan. Okay, how many wins?
I thought it was like 905 or something like that.
905. Trent, it's a little higher.
Is Michigan correct?
Yeah, Michigan's
Okay.
correct. I'm sorry. I'm just going to move on to the number.
All right. 950.
Higher. Dave,
I'm going to go with 992.
you're 995.
Damn.
So I would say they are 5 wins away from being the first team to ever have 1,000 wins in a season. Or I'm sorry, 1,000 wins
season.
in a season. Holy shit!
Wow.
3 games a day.
The last century of is just one whole season here.
Nice.
So now I wanted to ask you as well, because I think Michigan was pretty easy. The number obviously not as much. But can you round out the top 5 here?
Ohio State.
There are 3,
Alabama.
Bama, yeah.
2,
Texas,
5.
USC.
No,
Florida.
USC is 10th. Give me 1 second here. Sorry, 10th. Florida, no. Florida is. Oh, sorry, my computer's freezing.
Harvard
over here.
or
I think they're
Yale?
like-
I was gonna say,
No.
yeah. So when
Is it
I
Notre
when I
Dame?
read this trivia question, I was thinking it was somebody obscure. Like I was gonna guess Yale.
Oh, no. This one was more like I wanted to ask you a bunch of questions because it's all relevant schools now.
Is it Notre Dame?
It's Notre Dame. It's number 4
Yeah.
here. So do you know where Iowa is on the list? All-time wins?
18.
Lower.
30.
Boo.
24.
37.
Where's Iowa
Now-
State?
I was just going to say, Trent, I want you to guess that one first.
Oh, okay. Out of like what is
Out
it?
of 131
Okay.
schools,
I'm
and there's 69 Power 5 schools.
probably like 100.
A little higher. You got to give us a little
Okay.
credit.
80.
85.
Okay.
130.
85.
Let's go for that nice
we
round number.
We're just above Northwestern, but we're just below Louisiana, Kansas State, and Oregon State.
Mm.
So last year, when at the beginning of the season, we were actually like right behind Florida State, but then obviously they won a bunch of games and we
Did not.
we didn't. So no, I if you ever look at Winsipedia, I always have a blast just looking at like these historical numbers and like winning percentage and just how much it pisses you off looking at like all-time winning percentage of like Ohio State and stuff. It's
Mhm.
just unfair. Just 120 years of not losing. It's bullshit. So, well, speaking of teams that are historically in the top 25, let's talk about that a little bit here. Who did anyone we feel get left out here? Let me pull up it on the screen so you can see it. Oh, don't need to maximize it.
Yeah.
But Georgia, Michigan still on top. Oklahoma, they're one of the biggest movers. They went all the way up to 5. Louisville finally getting some respect at 14. Biggest drops were Texas, Wazoo, Notre Dame, Miami. Christ, Miami. We'll get into that in a little bit. But how are you feeling about this top 25 right now?
I'd swap Washington around probably with Oklahoma, believe it or not.
Okay. Moving them up to 5.
Yep.
I got the same
I
thing.
think-
I like this top 25, to be honest with you. I can't see too many issues with it. I like what Dave said, though. I like Washington in the top 5.
Yeah. And that one I think will get obviously solved this weekend, them playing Oregon.
Right.
But I was looking through it, and I can even get past the Miami won that game before the kneel. And I think unless you guys aren't like listening to as much college football stuff as I am, Mario Cristobal did this at Oregon when he was leading versus Stanford, and he lost the game that way. You'd think that would get seared in your brain to just not rush the ball,
Right.
in that situation.
They could have taken a knee.
Mm-hmm. And I'm pretty sure he was telling him, was it Cristobal telling his offensive coordinator, or was it vice versa?
I think it was the other way around.
Like, well, either way, that guy was on his staff. So, I mean, they know what can happen here.
Yeah, that ending was insane. So not only for that to happen, not only for them to botch that and not take the knee, for him to turn around, hand that ball off, have him fumble, have the other team recover, and then have that team offense come on the field, and then 2 huge plays for a touchdown to lose.
Yep.
That's just a lot of suck in the last minute.
Well, I would say, and it's like, of all teams, Georgia Tech, but Georgia Tech, ironically enough, has sneaky, very top talented wide receivers that have come out of there. I mean, like, Calvin Johnson came out of there. It always shocks me. It's like, he came out of where? Same thing with, like, Larry Fitzgerald, like, out of Pitt. Not like Oklahoma, Notre Dame, some of these, just out of nowhere, Pitt is where Fitzgerald came from. But
was Fitzgerald on that Pitt team that Iowa State beat in their very first bowl win back in the day with Sage Rosenfels?
What year?
I don't know. I'll have to look it up. Hold on.
Sage
Give me a second.
Rosenfels. Jesus Christ. That's a name I haven't thought of.
You haven't thought about him except when he was playing for the Texans and he spun around in the air. Helicopter.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm not sure if we beat the Fitzgerald team, though.
No, it wasn't the Independence Bowl. I'll find it. Go on.
Okay. I think the only team that I have a concern with still being up there, I think Ole Miss, I think, is a little too high. They just have not played anyone tough, and the tough teams that they have played, they've lost. The only one that I think is left out that deserves to be in there. Have you guys watched any Wyoming games this year?
No, but they've played everyone tough, right? Didn't they almost beat Texas?
They were tied with them into the fourth quarter.
That's right.
Until finally Texas. I mean, that's having the 5-star talent and the depth to pull away. But I think that's the only team I would want. Like, I think it would kind of work both ways. Miami dropping out, Wyoming getting a little bit of shine, and then Cristobal having enough. Like, okay, we can't fuck around the rest of the season because, like, if you look at their schedule, that's one of the easier ways to get into the ACC championship. Them in Louisville right now.
Right.
So, way to piss a golden opportunity down your leg here.
Right.
But, well, I would say we'll go over our games first, and then I know there's a lot bigger games, but fuck it, we're in an Iowa State podcast, so we'll kind of focus on ours.
Bazinga, go Hawks.
Bazinga. Well, let's talk about them first. Iowa 20, Purdue 14. Iowa covers -2.5, and I hope you guys are sitting down. The under of 38.5 hit.
Whoa.
Who'd have thunk it, man?
Right.
Oh, hold on. Actually, I forgot. I've updated the bottom line here for people that watch on YouTube. We have our Brian Ferentz points per meter tracker.
Ooh.
Very original idea. No one else in the world's doing it right now, but they're a little behind right now.
They're right on schedule, man. Just ask him.
No,
Dave, you
right
want
on schedule, 15 minutes late, I guess.
Larry
Right.
Fitzgerald was not on that Pitt team. He'd have been like 2 years later.
We're not talking about Larry Fitzgerald.
My bad.
We're talking about the Iowa Hawkeyes.
We're talking about the opposite of Larry Fitzgerald, which is no receiver.
Is there anything to talk
Exactly.
about?
So I don't
as
know
it-
what a receiver is.
Okay, so as an Iowa State fan, before we dive into this and the Hawkeyes keep winning, I have to share my screen for this. This is ridiculous.
Oh, shit. He's even got graphics here.
The only
We're going to
thing
get to the 21st century yet.
that I can think of is that
Is a Breaking Bad reference?
Breaking Bad when Jesse Pinkman, he can't keep getting away with it. It's the Iowa Hawkeyes, man. How do they keep winning? They keep getting away with having this offense and winning football games.
2 words, and we're going to talk about coaches of the year later. Phil Parker. That's the only.
Bill Parker.
It's the only thing keeping this fucking team afloat. That defense it's good. It's not as good as it was last year. They're still working some things out, but yeah, it's the only reason we've been in any game so far.
I'd have to agree. After seeing the game in person for the Michigan State game, 2 big things I noticed was how different Deacon Hill was between both games. That was the biggest difference, I think. But to keep us in the games is definitely due to Parker and his defense.
Yeah. Dude's got a goddamn cannon, but has the accuracy of me pitching in middle school baseball, just walking people left and right. He can't.
No.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, sorry. Go ahead, Joey.
I would say he can't hit the broadside of a barn, man. He can't throw it to anybody. Obviously, he was here's his stat line: 6 for 21, 110 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. Best stat of all, QBR of 2.0. Yeah.
2.0.
Yeah.
Joey, your QBR was 0 and you didn't play in the game.
Right. I mean, I threw a bunch of roasts and made shredded beef onto the smoker. So, I mean, I'll give myself QBR 5 just for that.
There's at one point, I think it was Chris Hassel that tweeted it out. Deacon was 1 for 9 of passing with an interception, and Iowa led 10-0.
That was at halftime, wasn't it?
They can't keep getting away with it.
Man,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to be shutting my monitor off and the camera because that sounds like the perfect game to me.
Oh no, you're gonna be hearing tissues getting pulled out of a box here, talking about leading. I mean, that is just disgusting, man. The kid literally, the only thing he did was he completed 2 passes, one to the other team, and you have a 2-score lead.
Yep.
What the fuck is that, man?
That's
Hawkeye
football, baby.
You want to know what was funny about the Michigan State Iowa game was when I was on my way home, I listened to the post game show with Dolph and Podolak, and they get down there and they're interviewing this Deacon Hill, and Deacon Hill's like, I trust Brian Ferentz and this, that, he trusts me, and going on. And I thought, how much ass kissing do you need to do to make it look like he's better than he is? Like, it was horrible because it was like from North Liberty to Cedar Rapids. Him like, yeah, I trust him and this, that. I mean, it was a good 15 minutes of just ass kissing interview. It's like, dude, you could just be honest and say, yeah, I just tried my best.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't. That's the one ass. Like, if you're gonna try and like climb the corporate ladder, you're not gonna climb you're not gonna kiss the ass of the guy that's about to get fired. You kiss the ass of his manager and the guy above that. Like, come on.
Right. Yeah. I mean, this is the year of being yourself in college football. He should have just called him out and started a beef and then transferred mid-year.
Yeah, who does that?
Right. Exactly. But other relative stats for the game, they did have 181 yards rushing. Caleb Johnson and LaShawn Williams both had pretty decent games. Caleb had 134. LaShawn had 74. And we also had 181 yards with Deacon Hill getting sacked 2 times for negative 25 yards. So, yeah, that works too.
What? Negative what?
Negative 25 yards.
I thought you said 45.
No.
Still 25.
Yep.
That is a lot.
Minus 12.5 per carry, but they were both sacks.
He takes 10-step drops.
He's
He has to. He throws it so hard. He has to get as far away from the receivers as he can.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because they don't throw them to him either, so he gets
True.
as far away as
Exactly.
possible.
That was my last relevant stat. For those of you that haven't heard yet, they didn't throw a pass or didn't have a completion to a receiver throughout the entire game. Surprisingly, to me, the stat of the day is that's the first time that's happened in the Kirk Ferentz era. I would have guessed that happened 15, 20 years ago. Like, we went a whole season without throwing a touchdown to a receiver. I figured this was just the norm.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Chiefs did that a few years ago, and that was incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is just that actually is the craziest part. That's never happened until this year.
Right.
That's insane. Though, let's be honest, this has been the year that Kirk's really I don't give a fuck a meter is at its highest.
Mm-hmm.
He just, it started last year with that Big Ten commercial where he goes, "What's the most overrated stat?" And he goes, "Offensive efficiency." And everyone's like, "Ha, here's the jokes." This year, he's like, "No, I'm going to double down on this and really show you I don't give a fuck about offense, and we're still going to win."
Yep. Yeah, I mean, what's the administration going to do if they go 10-1 now, or 11-1? Sorry, to end the year, go to Indy to play in the Big Ten championship game, but Brian Ferentz, it's 325 points he's got to score, and he's sitting at like 210. Like, what are they going to do? Fuck,
Dude,
we're not even going to get to 210 by then.
That's what I said from the beginning of the year. Like, if you go win 9-10 football games and he averages under 25 points a game and you fire him, you just won 10 games.
Right.
Like, there's no way that happens.
Yeah.
I've heard this question getting thrown around. If Iowa has an average offense, are they still 5-1 or are they 6-0 and beat Penn State somehow?
An average offense would have kept Penn State off the field longer, so I think our defense would have been fresher. I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to say we're going to win that game, but I definitely
think it'd been a lot closer, probably.
Yeah, wouldn't have been 35-0.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Like, I don't think that Penn State game, you guys look so outmatched. That's usually Iowa keeps it close, but I think even an average offense, you're in the exact same spot this year. I think maybe a little more frustrated at the Penn State, game, but otherwise right now you're just kind of feeling good that, hey, we're still 5-1. You have one of the easiest schedules to get to double-digit wins. Yep. It's coming up all Iowa.
Yep. Even though we're, and we'll cover this later when we do our picks and stuff, but even though we're double-digit underdogs going into this weekend, I wouldn't be surprised if you had the same score this weekend and we come out on top 20-14 or some shit like that up in Wisconsin. So, yeah, it's awesome to be 5-1. It's great that we're winning. I can't complain about that. I wish the offense was better. But like I said to the people we had over on Saturday, I just don't watch the offense. Like, every time the offense came on, I was doing something or going pee or getting a beer or something like that. Like, I just don't even watch the offense.
They can't keep getting away with this.
Every fucking time, man. Oh, speaking of the Wisconsin game, I'm editing my notes here. Somehow the over/under has gone down 2.5 points. A full field goal, and it's 34.5. That is,
wow.
I don't know if I even dare change the channel to that one this week.
What was that over/under last year? It was an Iowa game. It was the lowest over/under ever.
I have those stats. I was going to bring that up during that game. Or when we talk about
I can't remember who it was, who they were playing, but it was like in the 20s or like 30
21.
Or something.
21 and a half.
No, it was in the past decade, there have only been 4 games where the over-under is 34 points or less. 2021, Iowa, Minnesota, 31.5. 2022, Iowa. 2022, Iowa, Rutgers, 34. 2021, Iowa, Wisconsin, 34. And then just take a swing. Who's the last game? SEC matchup.
Bama, LSU.
I was going to say Vandy and Kentucky.
Vandy and Missouri. Yeah, and it was 2015. So I mean, that's kind of when they were having that rough transition out of the Big 12, and all of a sudden the recruiting was not catching up. So congrats, Iowa's at the top 3 of 4 in that category.
Hell yes.
Now 4 or 5.
Damn right, baby.
Joey lives for this.
Yeah. I love that 21-point over-under. That is amazing. Give me that all day.
Yeah. Christ. Well, I would say, if you don't mind, unless you got anything else, we'll move on to the Iowa State game.
Nah, go ahead. Let's do that before we get pessimistic about it.
Yeah. Iowa State 27, TCU 14, as we all expected. Iowa State repping the old school uniforms. Iowa State covered plus 6.5 and under 52.5. Joey's done with it. Trent, how'd you feel?
I had to wear the Jack Trice shirt after that win on Jack Trice Day in Ames. Good game. Iowa State, I feel like that game was more than 27-14. TCU did score a garbage time touchdown. It was 27-7, but it just felt, even that 20-point lead felt bigger. What Iowa State had they forced 4 turnovers. They rushed the ball. I mean, they ran the ball for 215, which crazy that happens when you can, start spreading the field out, throwing the ball. So Rocco Beck had another solid game. No picks. Didn't get sacked again. So still only been sacked, 3 times all year? So
twice.
Two times, okay. It was a great game. Defense. I felt like the defense, I think I texted you that the running back had 637 missed tackles in the first half.
Aaron Bailey, I believe is his name, number 9. He was shredding us all fucking game, man.
And then John Haycock, there was a moment on the sideline where he was kind of chewing out some players, and then they started tackling and being in the right spots, and that helps.
You know how, earlier in the year, we're going, why does Matt Campbell keep running the ball? I was thinking, Sonny Dykes, why the fuck do you stop running the ball?
I know.
I'm sorry, I think I said Aaron. It's Imani Bailey, number 9. 21 carries, 152 yards. He was averaging 7 yards a carry, and you don't keep feeding that kid.
God damn.
Yeah. I feel like most of that was in the first half, too.
Yeah. Oh, it was. That was just you're sitting back and just gut punch after gut punch. But that they switched some things around. They made very crucial turnovers with the 4 interceptions, most in a game since 2005 Oklahoma State. I mean, that's the Iowa State we're used to seeing. It doesn't have to be flashy on offense as much as we like to shit on Iowa. As long as we get some touchdowns, we're going to be fine. But that's the defense we expected all year. The bend but don't break.
Yep.
So.
I have a question about your game.
Yeah.
Are you guys the Cyclones or the Ames?
Back when they were the Ames.
And since when is it legal to walk around without any pants on during warm-ups? What the fuck's going on with that? Everyone's Daffy Ducking it. Or Donald Ducking it. Damn it. God damn it.
We're carrying the rock out with our cock out over here. Yeah. So, no, it was... if that was me out there, I would have said it was a very cold fall night, though. So it was funny watching everyone react to it. And, of course, speaking of the uniforms, everyone else I saw online was oh, they look cheesy. People were thinking we copied Ohio State because they wore some throwbacks 7 years ago, even though we wore the same throwbacks 11 years ago. Everyone was not really like them. Me and Trent were gushing over them in our text chain. I loved how dull they looked. No team name, no players' names on back. The colors somehow didn't pop, which made me love them even more.
Yeah, those helmets, those need to be an alternate helmet that we wear at least 2 or 3 times a year now. I love those white helmets with the Ames on it.
Yes, I do. I do love those. Matthews is asking if that makes us Iowa State last year's defending national champ runner-ups. Yes, us, Colorado, whoever the fuck else, TCU, West Virginia, we're all now national champ runner-ups here.
Yep.
So, interesting fact that I wanted to throw in here.
Hang the banner.
Iowa State is 3-0 the last 3 games when we've played the reigning national champion runner-up. We beat 2002 Nebraska, 2010 Texas, and 2023 TCU. So Matthews, we're several times defending national champ runners now.
Yep. Hang the banners.
You would.
Only other thing I had in here other than the uniforms, because I think we love them. I would love if we keep doing more. The idea everyone throws around is the first weekend in October having the Jack Trice Memorial Game. I mean, we named this freaking stadium after him, man. We might as well just go full bore, have another alternate uniform. Love it. I mean, but in this game, we've talked about how young we are all year, and we've been developing it. We had 17 freshmen play. I don't know what they mean by significant snaps. I'm assuming that means multiple 5+, but I mean, 17 freshmen playing in that game, that is incredible. I know some of it was probably garbage time at the end, but like that's awesome seeing that many players that are able to get involved in the game.
I think on the Williams and Bloom podcast, they were saying it was 17 freshmen that played meaningful snaps, not like garbage time either.
Oh, meaningful. I guess maybe that's what they mean by significant. It could just be vocabulary there, but no, I mean that's just like we know this year. I mean, we one article gets published that says we're going to go 6-6 and play Colorado in a bowl game, and I'm back all in on the Cyclones going to a bowl game. I told you at the beginning of the year, who cares if we lost to Ohio, Iowa? Don't matter. You know, we're going bowling now.
Yeah,
hell yeah.
The Ames going bowling.
The Ames that just shows you. I'll be honest, man. Like I sleep in on Saturdays now because it used to be like I gotta watch game day. I probably should watch Fox. They do all right, but like that shows you how lazy they are with like just their stats. They're not looking up anything. They don't know what Ames is for a major Power 5 university for the last 100 years. I mean that's sloppy.
Yeah,
they were just in Ames for game day. What, 3 years ago?
2 years ago because it was when Iowa was in Ames.
Yeah, so
when they were in Ames.
Right.
They were in the Ames.
Exactly.
That is, oh man, that's just beautiful. So I'm trying to figure out what our uniforms would look like for Niall Kinnick game, but I don't know.
Get the old leather helmets.
Yeah.
You already have the 1950s offense or 1940s,
See?
so I mean,
might as well throw it in this year.
No, he was 39, wasn't he, when he won?
I see the picture right now.
And I'm also pretty sure he's the only Heisman winner to have a field named after him.
Oh, really?
I'd have to stat check that.
It's 1939.
1939. See?
Yep.
I know Iowa trivia.
Right. Look at
somewhat.
You.
So yeah,
we definitely have to steal the golden helmets from Notre Dame then. In yellow letters.
Better ask them permission.
Yeah. Yep, I'm down.
Is that what they wore back in the day? Was it yellow, tan, gold helmets?
Yeah, here, let me share my screen.
Yeah, share it real quick. I want to see what a 1939 Iowa offensive player looks like.
Just like that.
Oh, hell yeah.
There you go.
See, if Iowa had the Niall Kinnick honorary game or whatever you want to call it, that would be legit. Have an all gold helmet. Fuck yeah!
I like it. All gold helmet, just black unis with those gold numbers on it. No Iowa, no name.
Yep.
I like it.
You can take this the wrong way. It's fine. No offense. As dull as Iowa is at times with that offense, that works perfectly, man. Those dull down colors. It looks like a. It looks actually. I'd say it looks like a dull Army or a dull Iowa. I think it looks like a fancy Navy with the gold rather than just the brown.
Yeah.
Black Knights, baby.
So I actually did know this. And I had to make it so I just looked this up so I'm factually correct here on our podcast. I'd hate to spew wrong information like the Ames, but a quick Google search. They had a mascot. Their first mascot, Iowa State's first mascot, was a Great Dane. Now they weren't like the Great Danes, but their mascot was a Great Dane, and his because before we ever got a dog, I actually knew this, and I told Katrina she wanted a dog. I said, we're getting a Great Dane, and his name's going to be Durbin von der Granderstadt, which was the Great Dane's name. And then we ended up with the Chihuahua.
I was going to say, that's quite the contrast.
But yeah, so I did actually know that.
Repeat the name one more time there, because that was majestic.
Durbin von der Granderstadt. Gartenstadt, sorry.
Durbin von Granderstadt.
Durbin von der Gartenstadt.
I'm not going to repeat it because I'm going to get it wrong, but that's incredible. We're going to have to...
Durbin is a Great Dane name.
See, we're going to figure out how many people actually care about Iowa State history, because maybe we need to make those shirts up and sell them online and see how many people actually know what Durbin is Dude, what his name actually is.
That is solid. Some Iowa State shirts with a Great Dane on it.
Yeah.
Nobody be taking our idea. That's Pulse of the Heartland, okay?
Yeah.
You'll find it on our merch store.
Shit, trademark. 1 second. I got to get this quick. Oh, fuck. I would say that'll definitely be a moneymaker. That's when to get this pod making some money here,
right.
Man. But I would say I think the obvious biggest game this weekend, and I know Boomer Matthews here is going to love it. Oklahoma won the Red River rivalry shootout, whichever you want to call it, 34-30. Is Oklahoma legit? Are they going to go to the playoffs?
Right now it's looking pretty good. I mean, we're going to get a Red River rivalry rematch in the Big 12 championship, and whoever wins that is probably going to the playoff.
Right.
You don't even think we need to play the rest of the year?
You don't think what?
I said, you don't think we need to play the rest of the year? It's just Oklahoma, Texas again?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, say with confidence. I probably tend to agree. Yeah, I mean, have you guys looked at Oklahoma's remaining schedule? Now that they've beat they didn't overlook Iowa State, unfortunately. They were ready both weeks here. Their remaining schedule here is UCF at home, Dylan Gabriel revenge game, and then at Kansas, at Oklahoma State for, in Bedlam. That seems really early. That usually Bedlam's like the last week of the season, isn't it?
Isn't it the same weekend as Iowa, Nebraska every year?
Yeah, usually it's around Thanksgiving, but Bedlam's going to be first week of November, then West Virginia at home, at BYU, and then versus TCU.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, maybe if Daniels is not going to play for Kansas again this weekend, he's doubtful. Maybe they're saving him for Oklahoma, have no film on him, have a chance. But I think, yeah, they're.
Yep.
I don't see a loss on that schedule. The West Virginia game actually might be a tough one for them.
Think West Virginia, really?
I mean, they're number 2 in the Big 12 right now. That's the only other team I can confidently say, like, yeah, they might give them some problems. Oklahoma State's shit. Right. BYU is that in between the new the new American teams and the rest of the Big 12. They're kind of in the middle. TCU, we just beat them. UCF.
If Jalen Daniels can get hot, that defense it's not an elite defense. I mean, if he gets hot, that could be a hell of a shootout. I could see Kansas, roll it in with an upset.
That would be how to go. Let the kid rest for 7 weeks to start the season and throw him in.
Yep.
The only thing that holds him back there is the chemistry with the guys. But like you said, if you have no film and can't really plan for it, you're right. It's probably Kansas and then West Virginia are their only legit threats to an undefeated season.
Wait, Jalen Daniels played this week and the week before.
I thought Bean was playing the whole time.
No, Jalen Daniels is. Hold on.
Now, Bean was in the game when I was watching it, so I don't know.
He's got 56 completions, 705 yards, and 5 touchdowns. I don't know how many games that is yet. For some reason, I can't see it, but it doesn't matter. Are
you talking Kansas, Jalen?
Yeah.
Or are you looking at LSU? Okay. No. Between him and the LSU Daniels, I always get those two.
Oh, right. Up. Yeah. Yeah, I was like, I'm pretty sure Jalen Daniels even played against Texas, but I could be wrong.
Yeah. Well, and I'm looking at Texas's schedule for the remainder of the season to see if they match up with them. At Houston, BYU, Kansas at home. Or, I'm sorry, BYU at home, Kansas at home. At TCU, at Iowa State, Texas Tech at home. I mean, home to Kansas State, which they haven't been who they're supposed to be this year.
They lost to Oklahoma State this week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yikes.
I mean, it was a Friday night. They had one less day to prep for the Cowboys.
Well, I don't know if that would have helped.
I mean, is it crazy to think that the worst game that they're going to have this for the rest of the schedule is at Iowa State late November? I mean, if it's a night game, lights out, Texas game, you're going to lose that game.
Mm-hmm.
Ask Oklahoma State in their national championship year. We're the pesky guy that comes out of nowhere that can actually create a tough environment. But even so, Texas Tech at home. Texas Tech hasn't been shit this year.
Right.
I
would have said BYU if it was in Provo.
In Provo?
Yeah.
Thanks for changing my handle there.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciate it.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome.
Turpin under Carton's hat.
Is Texas back?
All right. The weekly, are they back? Drum roll.
You could argue. I mean, they played Oklahoma tough.
Joy to the world. No, they're not
Still
back.
not back. So
Trent, did you at least appreciate my Christmas vacation?
I did. My favorite
Okay.
movie of all time. Thank you.
You beat us once at night since the Ronald Reagan administration. That was a fun night because I know how much it pissed you off, Matthews. But seeing those stats in college football has the best Iowa State hasn't won a conference championship since the Titanic sank. That one's real. It was like it was Iowa State hasn't beaten Oklahoma in Ames since I don't even think it was Reagan. I think it was Kennedy, Matthews. It was like in the fucking it was a terrible rivalry. I'm glad it's done. We're a lot closer to everyone else in our win-to-win ratio here. But yeah, I mean, sadly, like I said, I guess the main point, that's about the toughest game Texas probably has too, is Iowa State at home, especially if we're getting hot and we're at 5-4, 5-5, and we have to win 1 or 2 games to make it to a bowl game. That might be enough sauce to get those kids playing perfect out there.
And if it's 25 degrees.
Mm-hmm. Maybe they won't bail Texas out on a call like when Jeremiah George forced the fumble and was running it back. I remember that game.
I remember.
Christ.
Was that
bad ref talk from an Iowa
Was that
State
the
fan.
last Jack Trice jersey game?
No, I think that was when we actually wore cardinal and gold for our uniforms.
Thanks, Dave.
It was those days.
No problem, Joey.
That was actually, it was the USC mock uniforms is when we last played them.
Okay.
So
I think we got 2 shows going on here.
Left screen and right screen. It's like the left Twix and right Twix. They all.
Yep, exactly.
Well, it's good this side versus evil.
Wrong.
Yeah, to point the right way here, right?
It is mirrored.
Yeah. Well, mine is mirrored so you can read this lovely little Iowa State sign.
Yeah.
But other big games, UCLA fucking lost me a bet, but UCLA beat Wazoo 25-17. LSU in that crazy Missouri game 49-39. Georgia, Michigan both dominate, put up 50 burgers. USC game, that was the one. Sorry, I had to remember what I wanted to talk about. First off, did any of you catch that game that late at night?
No.
God, you're all so
Smidge of
fucking
it.
old.
Mm-hmm.
I think I watched some of it and just turned it off.
Oh, once I saw Arizona was up 17-0, I could not watch that. First off, I wanted to see an upset, but if anything, I was checking the odds. Arizona was still up 17-0 or 17-7, and USC was minus 200 to still win the game money line. It was It's like the last couple of years when it's like when the Chiefs get behind, I would think that'd be some easy money. No, Vegas doesn't even flinch when they were down by 3 scores at that point. But yeah, I mean that was a fun game. I don't know if you guys have watched any other triple overtime games, but the 2-point conversion back and forth is the stupidest fucking rule they've implemented in college football, man.
I hate it.
Thank you, Illinois and Penn State, right?
Dude, even if they're kicking extra points, like, let them go to 8 overtimes. Who cares? Like, nobody wants less football.
Right, exactly.
So it was the LSU Texas A&M 7 overtime game, 74-72 that caused it. But see, the Penn State Illinois game was like, at least that's meme worthy. 9 overtimes, 20-18. You know, perfect Big Ten score, perfect bullshit overtime score. You know, but like this one was just like Arizona. First off, Arizona did the cowardly move of not. I think it was the first overtime. USC had to score first, and then Arizona had the opportunity to go for 2 and just win the game.
Mm-hmm.
If you're Arizona, you know you don't have the athletes. You have a freshman quarterback that was playing phenomenally. Go for the win at that point. If you lose, everyone expects it. But if you win, you're legends, and you don't you can't keep up with them.
Like the 2010 Iowa State-Nebraska game when they get into overtime and Paul Rhodes calls or that might have been Gene Chizik here, a fake PAT, and they don't get it.
Cheese dick? Oh, man.
Hell yeah. It was Cheese Dick.
Yeah.
Prince
Rhodes was there.
What the hell is his name? Cornerback that went to the Giants.
Prince Amukamara?
Yes. He intercepted that fake PAT.
Yep.
That one definitely doesn't keep me up at night, but it was seared into my brain that day.
Mm-hmm.
And we were standing next to my buddy Ben, a couple of their kids from their high school, and they go, "Hey, the holder, he goes to Bishop Heelan where we went." And then all of a sudden I see this fake play where he fucks up the throw. I go, "Are you like?" I almost wanted to fight them just because they knew the kid. I was livid at that point.
I was there.
Last time we'd ever play Nebraska in Ames, and we fucked that up.
Yep.
Man, even I was cheering for you guys.
I was there.
I mean, that's got to be the one team, Joe, you just despise all time here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there is not a team that could play Nebraska that I would root for Nebraska.
1945 Germany. How about them?
What's the spread? What's the spread?
Oh, no. Sprinkle a little on the plus sign there.
I would phrasing. I wouldn't use sprinkle.
Does Nebraska cover?
Oh shit. Well, I would say any other big game. I mean, I just put in some of the top 25 scores. Were there any other big games that you guys watched that were honestly sneaking into the Big Ten that I don't really give a shit about? Or
I wish there was. I mean, Michigan beat the shit out of Minnesota, so that was good. But I mean, everything else is just playing out like normal. Who do Ohio State have? I don't remember.
Looking that up.
Ohio State played Maryland.
Looked dominant.
That's right. What was that, Bryant?
That was the first time that Michigan finally looked dominant this year.
Yeah.
Like, we're not going to fuck around. We're going to go up. We're just going to win this thing.
Yep. I think my favorite game this last weekend, it was a pretty crazy weekend. Obviously, the Texas-Oklahoma game was just nuts. But LSU-Mizzou, I know it was here in Como, but that was back and forth, and Mizzou pissed that one down their leg. I mean, they were up 22-7. They just took their foot off the gas. So I really liked that game. But, yeah, Georgia-Kentucky was close for about a minute.
Yeah, maybe a minute 15, and
right.
Then Kentucky realized they're a basketball school. and that was also the point where Mark Stoops made it a point to talk to the fans and tell them they need to give more money so that they can buy more players like Georgia.
Our players suck. We need more of your money to buy more players. That's basically what he said.
Otherwise, we're going to keep sucking.
Yeah.
Joey, who's winning the West, Wisconsin or Iowa, or is it just the winner of this matchup?
I really got to go with whoever just wins this matchup this weekend, because I don't think there's any other teams that are good enough to beat either Iowa or Wisconsin, especially if you get any sort of offense from either one of them. But I wouldn't be surprised if any of the teams did beat them. It's a kind of a shitty year for the Big Ten West.
I mean, even if you lose to Wisconsin this weekend, dude, they got to play at Illinois, Ohio State at home, at Indiana, Northwestern, Nebraska, at Minnesota.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they got 3 games that can very easily be lost there.
Yeah, I agree.
So, I mean, even if Iowa loses, sorry, but we've already talked about the end of the Iowa schedule. I think you guys are 10-2 minimum.
I just really, really, really want to do the 11-1, 10-2, and average like 19 points a game. God, I just want to laugh so hard the whole time.
I'm going to be exhilarated when your over-under hits 40 for the first time this year. I can't remember what the Iowa State one, but I think that's the only one this year, man.
Jesus Christ.
Versus a Power 5,
that's so sexy. I love hearing those words.
Gross. So, well, I would say, before we go into week 7 here, we kind of talked about doing this, and I put some of our stats together here, but doing some mid-season awards here for what we've played. Games that we've played so far. We're 6 games in, 6 games left here. I guess let's just start it off here. Trent, who do you have for your Heisman?
Bo Nix, quarterback for the Oregon Ducks.
Bodacious?
Yeah, Oregon's looking good. Yeah, I like Bo Nix.
He's been pretty solid. I can't. Have they been in any like even remotely close games? Or I'm just looking at for like if they've been in games where like he's had to be the difference.
No, not really.
Their closest game was Texas Tech, and they still won by 8, and they were up big, and Texas Tech came back.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it's 81-7, 55-10, 42-6, 42-6. So.
But, yeah, I guess Bo had to play well in that. So, okay, so you got your Power 5 game that was close, and he made the difference there. I like that one.
Yep.
Joey, I see you copied me.
I did, just like every other media person, now that I'm a big media star on a podcast. Yeah, Caleb Williams, his stats are better than last year. Dude's already got 22 touchdowns. I was just looking at top scoring teams in the nation. They have 189 points already. Granted, they've played 6 games, but still, that's 31 a game, 31 and a half. Like that's
31 points a game?
Yeah, I know. It's insane.
That's legal?
It seems a lot to the right-hand side of the screen.
Exactly.
On the podcast.
I wonder how you do that.
I don't know. Passing to receivers, I guess.
Yeah, that could be it.
So I have mine, but for a different reason. And yours is actually analytical, better stats, points, everything. I'm saying Caleb Williams is the Heisman winner right now simply because Lincoln Riley has the Heisman scheme down pat. And that's not because he has a phenomenal offense, which he kind of does, but he ensures that he coaches bad enough and does not improve that defense enough where you see the games like San Jose State, oh my God, they're competing in week 0. And then you get to see him throw some dimes. And then you see him this last weekend where Arizona's up 17-0. Now we got to throw on the brakes and Caleb's got to sling some passes out. He didn't really have a lot of touchdowns,
right?
But these games where he's the difference enough where we win the big games because Caleb's here. All of a sudden you're having these Heisman moments when they're spinning the reel where it talks about we're down 3 scores and then Caleb arrived. And then it doesn't talk about how he got behind 3 scores, but he's always the hero that lifts him up. And that's the formula he did at Oklahoma. I mean, look at Oklahoma now that they got rid of Riley and have a competent defense. They're looking top 5 in the country, and they can compete with anyone now. Whereas with Riley, they would piss they would piss it down their leg a couple games a year, not be in the playoffs, but he'd have the quarterback that could make all these plays and that had to throw for 500 yards and 5 touchdowns because the defense would give up 40 points.
Yep, exactly. And Matthews, to your point, they lost 3 games last year, and he won the Heisman.
Oh, shit.
And he's going to lose these 3 games to better teams than he lost those 3 games last year. So
Yeah, that's honestly, I was when I was looking at our playoff picks that we'll go over in a bit. USC is going to lose a game this year, at least one, and that whole conference is just going to cannibalize each other. UCLA Wazoo is the perfect example of Wazoo's going to be the one that kind of lifts himself up, and then UCLA takes him down. Oregon, Washington are going to be one of them's going to have to knock the other one down, and maybe one will get out unscathed. But I just have a bad feeling in these last 4 or 5 weeks here when they all have to start playing the top teams one another. It's just going to be like the Big 12 or the Big 10 other than Ohio State, Michigan every year, where everyone cannibalizes each other enough where nothing good is going to happen.
Yep, exactly.
I agree.
Ooh, hell yeah.
David, who's your Heisman pick? Is it Caleb?
Yeah.
So I have him, but I also have Michael
Penis?
Penix from Washington. Close second. I think he's doing exceptionally well this year, and I think he could probably. I think he could get there.
You and Spencer Shoemaker have the same opinion in the chat there.
Yeah, not only Heisman for Penix, but he has Washington, Oregon for the game of the week, which I agree. That one is that at the 11 a.m. I believe.
I just had it out. Damn it!
It's Pac-12. Put that thing at 9 p.m.
I think it's 2:30. I saw
2:30.
Right,
okay.
Give us a reason to stay up late.
What are you guys asking for that for? You guys are always going to bed. I was asking, hey, did you catch the Hawaii game? And you never see the Hawaii game at 1:30 in the morning.
The Iowa State game got over at like 10 after 10 last week, and I missed the fourth quarter because I fell asleep on the couch.
Well, speaking of this, if you don't mind, I'm going to switch it up because we're talking about games. What's been the best game of the year?
That's happening this week, Oregon and Washington.
Oh, shit. Okay. Well,
this is.
I'll accept that. We haven't even seen the game yet, but I agree right now. It's probably one of the better games that's going to happen this year.
I had the Red River rivalry. I went just back this last week, Oklahoma, Texas. That was electric. Texas scores, take the lead with minute 10 left, and Oklahoma goes right down and scores again.
Joey?
I'm going to go with the first great top 10 matchup of the year that we had with Notre Dame and Ohio State. That game was fucking phenomenal. And Ryan Day's expletives well, it wasn't expletives, but him calling out Lou Holtz. I love it. Love it.
Geriatric fuck out of here.
And
87-year-old Lou Holtz. Fuck you.
And they scored less than 40 points total. So that's my kind of game.
Oh, God.
Well, fuck yeah, man.
That'd probably be my second.
Joey, how was I the one to pick a Colorado game this year?
I don't know.
I had Colorado State, Colorado.
Oh, I'm also out on Colorado. Shedeur Sanders is a tool bag. Like going up and putting his Rolex in front of Arizona State's student section and crap. Like you just beat a shit school. Like, they're terrible.
You beat Arizona State.
Right.
Come on.
Yeah. It's just asinine.
Like that's not even like you got to be humble. It's like you got to know when to flash your watch, man.
Right,
like,
dude. Yeah. Not only was
USC by 3, that's the game when you
Arizona State is Colorado's national championship. It's their Super Bowl.
I guess, man. But
I agree with Matthews. It was Iowa State, Ohio. That you want to talk about defense in that game, Joey?
Hell yeah,
10-7.
Man,
you can't even stand up after hearing that.
I really wanted to see Rourke do well in that game, and he just kind of shit the bed.
Yeah, he did. He didn't play well, but yeah, no, that I don't know. The Colorado State, that one, as much as like I have to get a few weeks out of it because like I'm not the biggest Deion fan. I'm trying not to like shit on something that everyone kind of loves, but he really did hype up that. Who the fuck cares about Mountain West versus Pac-12 unless Deion was hyping it up and you're bringing these celebrities? And honestly, Colorado State delivered by playing very well, and it was a thrilling last-minute comeback to go to overtime. It had everything, man. It had controversy with the safety spearing Travis Hunter. I love that game.
Yeah. Yep. So, I could agree with that. And it was, like you said, it was a great media get too. So that was awesome.
And honestly, I can say that now that everyone's cooled off in Colorado. Okay, they're 4-2. but they haven't. The only teams that they've beat are nobodies.
Right.
But let's be honest. The two relative teams with a heartbeat, they got not even remotely playing the same sport.
I believe I told you they would.
I'm gonna save that one for later because it's kind of similar to Heisman. But best team so far.
I'll go. It's Washington. I think, are the best team in the Pac-12. I think they're the most dynamic team. I think they are the most even or most well-rounded team other than Michigan, and they have a way better offense. So better D than USC, better O than Oregon. They're going to win the Pac-12.
Yep. Dave?
I'm going to ride Joey's coattails on that one.
Hell yeah.
I'm sorry, I saw Trent's answer on there, but I agree. I would say Washington
I can't even
has been phenomenal. Matthews has Penn State there. I would agree with that one. I had him.
I was going to say, this is going to give Matthews the little chub over here. Oklahoma was mine.
Oh, shit.
Oh, you're trying to vomit. I thought you were saying Louisville.
No, I'm vomiting.
That's mine.
I'm holding it back.
That's only Bryant's, too.
Yeah. No, Oklahoma, now they have a defense. They have a defensive line. They you can give it to them. I mean, again, we know where Big 12 is. We know we're not the top tier. Unfortunately, Texas is the only team that can compete with them, and
that's why I picked them. Oklahoma, I mean, they're undefeated. They beat Texas, who beat Bama. We're going to play. I mean, Oklahoma's probably going to play in the Big 12 championship. If they win that, they probably get into the playoff. So that was my thinking.
I hate the people that Oklahoma won. They get their due. They played their tough team and they beat them. I hate these people go, well, Texas is still better because if they would have won, if they would have played again on a neutral field, they would have won. It's like, so why are we playing the games? If on-field results don't matter, what the fuck do we need to? Well, in my hypothetical situation, because I like Texas, they would have won.
Brian, you sound like the football playoff committee. Stop it.
I'm just saying, yeah, exactly. That's what I feel like listening to this. One team, I don't know if they're the best. I just wanted to throw a shout out Louisville. I've lost a couple bets against them. I've won a couple games. I mean, 6-0, man. They've beaten everyone in front of them. It's a first-year coach. They don't have the talent of Georgia, Michigan, but they're still beating the likes of Notre Dame. I mean, Louisville, if you give me 2 seconds, I'm going to ramble here, but Louisville has a very good shot at winning the ACC here.
They took it to Notre Dame.
Yeah.
What's that?
They took it to Notre Dame last week.
They took it to Notre Dame at home, but this is the remaining schedule. At Pitt, Duke at home, Va-Tech, Virginia, at Miami, home Kentucky. So not only, their toughest game is probably Duke at home. You could say at Miami with the home. They don't really have a home field advantage. And then, Kentucky, depending where they're at. I mean, not only they have a very reasonable schedule that they do have some ranked teams, but not great teams. I mean, they could all keep climbing the ranks. They might be. I mean, if they keep winning, I'm just trying to think of who's ahead of them. I mean, they would probably be 8 through 6, and then if they win the ACC championship versus a Florida State, they can get a fluke win. I mean, they're in.
If they're undefeated and they beat Florida State in the championship game, they're in the playoffs. I don't think there's a question.
Well, yeah, I guess that would be anyone.
Yeah.
Even if they had 1 or 2 losses, I mean, I think if you lose they're losing late in the season. They're not losing at the right time,
Yeah.
We've learned from the Ohio States you have to lose at the right time, either super early in the season
or to
versus
Michigan.
a tough non-con, or you have to lose versus Michigan late in the season. They go, well, that doesn't count because
it's a good loss. Good loss.
Good loss.
You guys are learning. See, maybe someday your team will be in the Big Ten.
Hey, yeah, maybe.
That's disgusting.
Best coach.
Jeff Brom.
Go ahead.
Louisville.
Who'd you say?
Jeff Brom.
Louisville. Mm-hmm. I'd be solid with that.
Phil motherfucking Parker, baby.
David had Brian Ferentz. I saw it with my own eyes on the spreadsheet.
I did not put that. I did not put that down.
And
I don't even know how to edit. I don't even know how to edit that thing.
That's what happens when we can just edit each other's spreadsheets.
Edit? Hold on, I gotta stop college football. You don't know how to edit this document? You just click it, man, and start typing.
I'm 37. I have no idea.
You look like you're 90.
You're a whole year older than us.
It's a Google Doc. It's not like I've
never used it before.
All right, Dave, you got to solve this arithmetic problem before you can start making edits on this thing. You just got to click it, man.
Oh, okay.
I love you,
I just
Dave.
learned.
You have to find X in this algebra problem.
Oh, Lord.
Why do you think that I've never put anything in it? Because I don't know what I'm doing.
Oh, well, I'll be honest. Usually there's not much to edit in there. But we'll leave the semantics after. We can talk about that after so no one's bothered by our tech problems here. But Trent, you're going to keep on the Oklahoma train here?
Yeah. Brent Venables. I mean, Oklahoma was 6-7 last year, and now they're looking like they could take it to the college football playoff. So,
yep.
Yeah. I need to cleanse the palate after giving Oklahoma so much love. Sorry.
Yuck.
There you go.
Yeah. Cleanse yourself, my child.
That's better.
Spence, I hope you're not listening, but I put Dan Lanning just because
there we go.
He's undefeated. He's put his money where his mouth is. No offense, he shut Dion up. That was kind of nice. The only thing that Danny Lanning has fucked up this season is when he says we're going to keep burying them when they're up 35 or 42-0, and then didn't score any more points. That's the one thing. Like, come on, I wanted to see 70-7. I wanted to see Texas versus Colorado in the Big 12 championship with Vince Young. That's what I wanted to see in that game. But Lanning took the brakes off, man.
Yeah, cost me money.
Yep. Cost me fucking money too. This one I didn't know the difference on it, but we had the best player so far. I kind of thought that was just, no offense, I thought that was the Heisman because who's the best quarterback?
Do you want me to explain this since it was my idea?
Yes.
All right. So there's obviously I have a different person than I had for the Heisman because I think Caleb Williams is going to win the Heisman. For me, the Heisman is a popular vote type bullshit thing. I don't like the Heisman. I can't say ever, but a lot of times the person that I think plays the best in college football just doesn't get it. Like we talk about Ndamukong Suh all the time. So for my best player so far, I'm gonna go with a guy that is second in yards, fifth in touchdowns, and every single game looks like he's the best player on the field, and that's Dave's second Heisman guy, Michael Penix, out of Washington.
Yeah. Excuse me.
Must be
I think
telepathic. That's who I have too.
Nice.
The two Iowa fans are just loving this offense. You guys got to try it sometime.
I know.
I can't believe not one of you guys put Tory Taylor in there.
Well,
I couldn't find the Vandy kid's name because I actually forgot about this until now. There's one kid ahead of him in career punting yards. The punter from Vandy. He's the only player in NCAA history with over 11,000 punting yards.
Damn.
And Tory Taylor's going to pass him this weekend. That's the race we need to really keep track of. Fuck the drive for 325. We need to have total punting yards between Tory Taylor and Vandy kid.
Yeah.
I'll put it in the notes to look it up next week.
I didn't even have anybody in this just because, I've got my Heisman pick there. Outside of that, I don't know. I just couldn't.
You don't want to say your favorite team, Dylan Gabriel, best quarterback in the country?
No. I mean, I picked Bo Nix for Heisman, but I mean, outside of him, I didn't want to get redundant and just play him again.
Yeah. So. That's where I took it a different way because I was like, the one kid, I think this is respectable. He's only played 2 games this year, and he gave us the thrillers last weekend versus USC. Noah Fafita, he's a freshman quarterback for Arizona this year. They had another quarterback start the first 3 or 4 games, and then he started these last 2. Versus Washington at home and at number 9 USC, he's gone 52 for 74, 535 yards, 8 touchdowns, and only 2 interceptions versus 2 top 10 teams in the country. And I would say Is Arizona great? No, they're actually decent. I wouldn't be shocked if they make a bowl this year. But I mean, considering you're a freshman in your first year, and all of a sudden you're playing, you've only played top 10 opponents, and you're putting up those types of stats and yards. That's incredible, man.
So you're telling me this garbage program found a good quarterback just in time for them to join the Big 12? Shocking.
Yeah.
Shocking.
I mean, Trent, you and me both know they got some good quarterbacks that come out of Arizona.
Yeah.
You want to hear another shocking stat?
Let's hear it.
Torrey Taylor has 12 punts inside the 20 already this year. Last year he had 6 total. The year before that he had 1. So he's got more inside the 20 this year already than he has 5 more than he's had in his whole entire career. That is insane.
I'll be honest, that doesn't sound right. Like, I watched them, and I think 2 of those were versus Iowa State.
33.33% of his punts are inside the 20. A third of his punts.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
The crazy, that seems low, though. Like, for him, every single time, it's like they have to have a 90-yard drive, an 80-yard drive. Well, I guess 75 would be outside the 20, but, I mean, they good on him. That's what.
Yeah.
Do you have the next punter stats?
No, because when I go to national stats, it doesn't do anything inside the 20. Oh. It just goes net, longest, and all that crap.
Let's just assume it's him.
Yeah.
Look up the Vandy kid. He's about the only other one I could think of, maybe. But I would say even with that, man, he is he's just a different beast. I mean, he will be drafted. I mean that type of accuracy, it was Matt Ariza minus not wanting to go to a party. I think I'd like to go to a party with Torrey Taylor.
Holy shit.
Matt Ariza, not so much.
Matthew Hayball, the Vandy kicker, also has 12 inside the 20, but at a clip of 42.86% because he's only had 28 punts because Vandy's offense is better.
SEC, it just means more, Joey.
Exactly.
The punting just means more.
So this kid is active right now for Vandy?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a senior too. So, last thing, so we can actually get into the points, so we're not just gloating over our past stuff. Preseason playoff picks. I'll have you guys go over yours. Mine were Georgia 1, Penn State 2, Alabama 3, Oregon State 4. All are pretty valid right now. My combined record is 21-2 right now with those teams. I mean, all of them have a path to the playoffs still, so I'm feeling pretty good on
that. Yeah, my Clemson pick isn't looking real great right now, but at least it's not as bad as my Texas A&M pick from last year.
True. Baylor, Notre Dame. Who else did you have in that pick last year?
Oh, God. Oh, God.
No, I don't think I had them. Either of them.
But no, I would say, Trent, you had Georgia, Ohio State, Alabama, Clemson. Clemson's about the only one that I'm not feeling great, especially those teams are coming out of the ACC. There's a lot more competition now.
Yeah. Bama's not looking real strong right now, but they're still in the SEC, and we know the playoff committee loves them some SEC. So don't count them out.
Only one kid didn't have Alabama. Speaking of them being a bad pick, that was Joey. He had Georgia, Michigan, Clemson, or LSU, Clemson.
Yeah,
I'm assuming in that order.
Yeah, and LSU and Clemson, neither one of them are going to make the playoffs. So I don't know if either one of them wins the division that they're in. So there's that.
Clemson, no. LSU has that outside shot, especially with that offense. But that defense looks atrocious, man.
Yeah, they're real bad. So but I'm okay with a 20-4 record.
Yeah, so far. I mean, again, it's only halfway through. Maybe it's 40-4. No, that didn't right. 46-4. That would be the correct record at the end of the year.
Yep.
And then Dave has the best record out of all of us. He has Alabama 1, USC, Georgia, Michigan, 23-1. His only losses to his number 1 seed, Alabama. There.
Yeah. Huh.
Feeling pretty good about those picks.
I didn't realize. I looked back at the phone and I was like, I don't remember picking Alabama, but yeah, I feel pretty good.
I had to see. Trent wrote it down. I didn't want to bother him when I was doing this late last night, so I just had to listen to our own podcast and find it in there. That was like the dumbest thing. I should have just texted you, Trent, but yeah, that was me listening to us back and getting those picks out of it.
Nice,
so.
Dave.
Wait, how many? What's Dave's record?
Yeah, how do I have one loss if I picked Alabama?
His teams are 23-1.
Okay.
Alabama's 5-1. USC, Michigan, and Georgia are all 6-0.
Gotcha.
I don't remember picking Alabama. That's odd.
Dave, yeah, I have you with.
I swear I wouldn't make it up.
No,
it was.
Dave has. I have Dave written down as Michigan, Georgia, Texas, and USC.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's what I.
Well, I mean, it's still the same record. I don't know what Texas would be, but again, Texas has a very legit shot too. They just have to get back to the Big 12 and beat Oklahoma at this point.
Yeah.
No, Matthews, it doesn't work that way. If you're winning your Big 12 teams.
Yes, yeah. Right now, I would say unless it's not going to benefit us, like in basketball season this year, then you're SEC already. And we're just gonna. It means more bullshit. Yeah, no, I would say I'll be honest. I felt this year. You remember the preseason shows with Herb Street and everyone. Hey, Big 12, anything? Oh, Oklahoma, Texas, and it was just a gargle fest too. So it's already started. It's always been them. Always will be them. So, all right. Well, I would say we went over how we're so smart that we had our nice picks here. Let's keep our predictions going on with our actual game picks here. So if you guys don't mind, we'll start with Iowa State just because they are the early game. Iowa State is a 5.5-point underdog somehow at Cincinnati. They are coming off a bye week here. Over under 44.5. That's dropped from 49 points originally. The game is on FS1 at 11 o'clock. Trent, what do you think?
Iowa State wins this game. They're not just going to cover that 5. They're going to win.
Yep.
Cincy, their best game they've played this year is a loss to Oklahoma. It is. Well,
they played them closer than us.
Yes, but let me look up their.
With the score, it was 20-6.
Well, I was going to look up their other games this year, but
for Cincinnati, yeah, they have not had any real great like games to write home about, man. They slaughtered their FCS opponent, I believe it was Eastern Kentucky at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
And then they had the surprise win versus Pitt. But that was kind of a come out of the, at the very last minute.
Yeah, they lost. Lost to Miami of Ohio, lost to Oklahoma, lost to BYU.
So. I mean, I'm just saying, who the fuck loses to a MAC school in Oklahoma in a year?
Yeah, I don't see
Not
it.
Iowa State.
Right.
Out of all the 4 schools that have joined the Big 12, the only win, they're all winless in the Big 12 except BYU, and that was a win against Cincinnati, a team that's not even an old Big 12 team.
So, I agree. Now, let's be real honest before I talk about the positives. Trent, Iowa State would be the team to give up the first Big 12 win to one of the newer schools.
100%.
Remember back in the day when it was like, Baylor stinks. How can they be so fucking terrible? And then Baylor wins their first road game in Big 12 history versus us. Like a year when they were absolute dog shit. It was before RG3 even. But like, this would be, that is my biggest terror, is that Iowa State loses this game. But I had to look up some stats to make myself feel good about this game. Iowa State and Cincinnati, they've never played in history before. This will be the first ever matchup. In Campbell, in his career, all-time head coach, he is 22-8 all-time in the state of Ohio because he coached at Toledo. So he's well known for winning in the state. Alex Gukin on Twitter, Iowa State is 5-1 at 11 a.m. kickoffs on FS1 and 3-0 in the road in those such games. So, I mean, how do you lose when you have statistics like that on your side?
You can't. You don't.
I will agree, though, Trent. I don't know if you're being serious. This was the empty the account and put it on Iowa State game. I put it all. I think we were plus 170. I put like $33 on my balance, so I'm up to win quite a bit of money when we do win this game.
Yep.
I think Emory Jones is not as good. I watched the first game when they won 66 to who gives a shit, and I thought that was, okay, this is going to be a scary addition to the Big 12. I don't think he's that impressive.
No.
I watched him in the Oklahoma State game too, and I thought that was more just Oklahoma State, or I'm sorry, the Oklahoma game, Oklahoma being Oklahoma. But, I mean, that really has impressed me. It's more of their running game where they have, I believe they were second in the Big 12. They are pretty high up in the nation on rushing yards per game. And I just saw what TCU did to us. Now, that was a very talented and speedy running back. If we can stop the run, I think we're going to be just fine.
Yep.
Emory Jones doesn't even – it felt the same as TCU's backup. I mean, I'm not worried about him. It's going to be if we can stop that run.
Yep, I totally agree. Got to tackle.
Yeah, if we can tackle, if the line can keep improving from what they've been doing, or I'm sorry, improving like they have been doing. This last week was the first time where I go, holy shit, yeah, let's keep running. We're creating some holes out there. It's creating enough of an offense where we can get some passes off and don't have the pressure. I mean, we're starting to hit our stride here, and is just as well. Jake Remsburg, the lineman caught in the gambling controversy, he's back. I don't think he'll play. But, I mean, he could, I guess, technically play some snaps if he wanted, if they needed him to, as well as just having that veteran presence, I think, is going to be huge.
Yeah.
So, I'm trying to think. I was trying to think of what I think the actual score is going to be. I mean, it wouldn't shock me if it was another, 24-7, 24-14. Who knows, man? This defense has been pretty stout for Cincinnati. I would probably, if I had to take another bet, I'd probably take that under 45.5 right now.
Yeah, under 45.5 and Iowa State to win.
No, sorry, 44.5. Either way, same thing. I'm taking the under on that. So, Trent, Joey, you got anything on that? Do you want to talk about some Hawkeyes?
I got nothing for the Iowa State game.
I'll call you whatever the fuck I want. I'm just kidding.
Right. Sounds good.
Okay.
This is Bryant's show. He does what he wants.
I make the agenda, you don't edit it, and you're going to listen to me.
You 37-year-old.
You 37-year-old.
Never used docs, but anyways.
Oh, shit. Iowa, 10-point underdog. That's the craziest part. Iowa being a 10-point underdog, they've never more than one score.
Right.
At Wisconsin, over under 34.5. The game is on Fox at 3:00. Battle for the Heartland Trophy. Who wants to start?
Is the spread still +10, or what's the spread now?
I think it might be 9 now.
Okay.
I mean, I didn't check the adjusted spread. I know the over/under went. Yeah, spread's still 10. The over/under is the only thing that went down now.
All right, so they're thinking Iowa scores 12 points, and Wisconsin scores 24-ish. So
20. They think it's going to be. Oh, yeah. No, I'm sorry. Yes, you're correct.
Yeah. Well, around there. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just like wash, rinse, repeat for Iowa every single time we have a decent game coming up, or even not even a decent game, just any of our games. If the defense can hold, the offense, if they can do anything, we have a good chance of winning. But I don't know. I think Wisconsin's offense is just good enough to wear our defense out, like Penn State did.
It's a Deacon Hill revenge game too.
Yeah, it is.
Extra motivation.
Very true.
Dave?
If Iowa plays like they have in the past 2 weeks, they're either going to lose or they'll come up with the ugliest win again.
What
Win
what
ugly.
What do you think would constitute as the ugliest win they could pull out here in Madison?
2-0.
Good question.
Ooh.
Give me 9-6.
Oh yeah. See, at least 6-4. That one's iconic because it's like, okay, you got 2 safeties. That's actually pretty cool. 9-6 is that's absolutely disgusting.
I like
especially if we can get the 9.
It'll probably be like last week, 2014.
That's even better
What was
score
that?
if we
You
get to
broke up
9
right
by
here.
a touchdown, missed extra point, and a field goal.
I liked the 4-6 score with 5 safeties.
Hell yes.
Yes. with 2 of them being over the head shotgun snaps so that he just misses and goes in the back of the end zone.
Kicks the ball out
I
the
like
back.
this wide receiver to have a catch plus 120. I like that.
Plus 20.
Okay, hold on. I have to see. I'm wondering.
That's like free money.
Do they do player props? Yeah, they do. Receiving yards. Receiving yards. Vines for Iowa. The over/under is 20. Eric All, your top receiver, over/under is 41.5.
Oh.
Reganey.
Yep.
16.5. That's your top receiver, man.
Wow.
I mean, Deacon Hall over under half a touchdown. The under touchdown is plus 105. That's pretty good. Oh my god!
What's his
over
under passing yards?
Passing yards for him?
Yeah.
Pass yards. What do you think Deacon Hill's over under for passing yards is? Whole game.
It's got to be 100.
I was going to go
130.
125.
What'd you say, Joey?
125.
Right on the fucking nose. 125.5.
Boom.
Jeez.
Boom, baby.
That's incredible. I want these types of odds if we're gonna bet the Iowa game. Wide receiver to have a catch plus 120. That is, I don't know. I'd bet the under on that.
Yep.
They did. I think you have taken over Army with, instead of wide receivers, you just have wide tackles now that block downfield for Johnson, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I mean,
Golden
why
Bachelor.
not? Oh, the who scores more? Oh shit, who scores more? The Iowa offense or the Golden Bachelor?
Yep, Golden.
Either way, whether it's those old women snatchers or an Iowa end zone, they haven't seen a lot of action this year.
And both stink.
And both stink. Both of them, the grass runs long or is grown out a little bit. There we go. I stumbled through that fucking joke. Jesus, what a mistake there. Yeah, Iowa offense bad. I just know they're gonna somehow pull the game out. Deacon Hill is gonna have a decent, it's gonna be like a 40 yards in the air bomb to a tight end or a receiver, because that's what he's known for. And we're gonna joke like, oh, they don't pass to nobody. He'll catch a wide receiver wide open because they're going to play 11 in the box. They know no receiver's going to have anyone on him, and Deacon's going to hit one for the touchdown that's going to win the game.
You know what? I think Cooper is going to have another pick six, maybe 2. He's going to have 2. Tanner Mordecai is going to turn into Taylor Martinez, and Iowa's going to win 14-0 on 2 defensive touchdowns.
Wow.
I
think he's going to have another 73-yard punt return.
Nice.
Ooh, another punt return?
Hell yeah.
I'm just saying, Tanner Mordecai and Taylor Martinez, same initials.
Where do you think I came
Same
up?
initials.
Yep. Trademark.
That'll be some stupid Iowa stat too. Dijon has intercepted quarterbacks with the initials TM 4 times for touchdowns, and they can't keep getting away with it. Thank you, Jesse Pinkman, for that. I don't know how I didn't think of that before, Trent. That's incredible.
That's been on my mind for like 2 weeks. They just can't keep getting away with this. I don't know how they do it.
Oh, see, we need to like put like a cyclone head on there.
Yeah.
With he can't get away with it, and then put like the Herky on like Walt when he shot the. Oh no, it was Todd that shot the kid. Never mind. I was gonna say. Sorry, spoilers if you haven't watched Breaking Bad in the last 8 years, but
yeah, get to it.
They get shot, everyone's shocked.
Yeah.
Can't keep getting away with it. Yeah, that me and Trent are just going to get progressively angry. Our team can keep winning. We're just going to be mad that Iowa keeps winning in the worst possible way that no other team would win in.
That's fine.
You got to get defensive stops and do not throw to the wide receivers, and you could probably win.
If Iowa State played a game like that, they'd get beat by 40.
Oh, easy. But you know what? Joey has the same mentality of Al Davis, which is what?
Win, baby. Just win.
There we go. Exactly. That's the most important part. Oh, Noah Shannon. Have you heard anything if he's going to do anything more than just practice this week. He's back from the gambling thing too.
Oh, I was like, I don't even know who that is. I don't know. Was he a starter to begin with?
I think he's only practicing so far from what I've seen.
Oh.
Yeah, I'd only heard practicing. I wasn't sure if there's more that he was doing at this point. The one thing I will point out as well, because I forgot to do it at the beginning, Wisconsin leads the series 49-45-2 all time. Kirk is only 9-13 versus Wisconsin, and it's mostly because of the last 8 years, man. They've just had his number for some reason. I don't know what it is. I mean, no offense, considering they're kind of the same team, I'm shocked that it was so I believe it's the last 9 years they're 3-6 or 2-7 of the 13 wins versus Kirk. Also, I don't think I'm going to break it out this week, but speaking of Trent, are the Iowa stats that make us disgusted. I looked up historic numbers for Iowa, and this is going to be a teaser for everyone listening and for next week, or whenever.
He's sticking in
Iowa
my veins,
has some
baby.
Disgusting all-time wins numbers, and it just because Iowa State's involved with it too. But I'll share that one next week, and we're going to be so disappointed, and Joey and Dave are going to be laughing their asses off.
Can't wait.
Can't wait.
So sorry, no spoilers for next week, but that is going to be that's going to be a big one for you.
Sorry, I'm busy next Wednesday, I think.
Yeah. Oh, you'll want to be after you hear the stat here. Big games for this weekend. I think 10 USC at 21 Notre Dame, 8 Oregon at 7 Washington, 25 Miami at 12 North Carolina, Mizzou at 24 Kentucky. I think Mizzou's 26 or 7 right now.
Yep.
18 UCLA is an underdog at 15 Oregon State. And then I did put in for the big game. It's not in the bottom there, but Ohio State plays unranked Purdue. And remember, Purdue has beaten a top 5 team 17 times as an unranked foe. No one else has done that more than 11 times. They are the giant killer.
Right. Exactly. You think it's going to happen?
If there's going to be an Ohio State team that loses to an unranked Purdue, this is the team. They haven't looked impressive at all this year, man.
Right. Yeah, that game's just interesting because of Purdue being giant killers. But my game of the week would, other than the Oregon-Washington game, which sticks out over everything else, I'm really interested in USC Notre Dame. Just want to see how that plays.
Yeah. I mean, USC, no defense. Are you actually going to pull out? And Sam Hartford for 2 tough games. Was it back-to-back?
Yep.
Duke, Ohio State. I mean, are you going to prove that what you can do, what you're meant there, what you were brought there to do?
I saw a tweet today that said Notre Dame's offense was practicing without defense on the field today to simulate what they're going to see on Saturday.
There's a new meme out in college football Twitter where just USC was taking punt returns, right, and they were spraying water on them. And all of it's very simple situations. Lincoln Riley is having punt returners catch balls in the rain to simulate South Bend. These are the details that make him a great coach. Because all the Coloradoans, Dion's playing music out here. How did he think of this? And it's loud out there now. So everyone just takes the simplest thing that they're wearing no pads, so they're rested before the game. How do they do it? It's all these very simple tropes that all coaches do.
I like the Miami Tar Heels game. Drake Mayo and that Walker. I'm taking Tar Heels. Mayo and that Walker guy. Pretty good.
Mario Cristobal going to totally redeem himself.
That would be Miami. Just pull one out of their ass on this one after the most embarrassing loss last week.
Right. Go Canes.
I would say speaking of that game, I'm surprised Drake May has kind of been so under the radar because all these Pac-12 teams have been so good, I think. That one's a little shocking. I'm looking forward to, because I got to believe in them for the playoffs, that UCLA game with as many, I think they had over 90 snaps on offense, which after all these commercials and, issues with the game getting slowed down, it's going to be interesting to see how their offense competes versus Oregon State's defense, which I feel is pretty good. It's not the top defense in the Pac-12, but I mean, for me, this game could derail them. For UCLA, that might be the thing to keep them in the conversation of winning the conference.
100% agree.
Oh, Matthews, we covered that one. If Brian keeps his job, if they make the Big Ten championship game, I think they do. At that point, like, they've already got the joke out of the way. Defense is just gonna, as long as they're competent enough and nothing like, honestly, if he Mario Cristobal's it at any point, then he's done. One major laughable mistake, but
go
ahead.
I would say the only thing funnier than if that happens and he keeps his job is if his dad retires, then he gets promoted to head coach.
No, I mean,
please.
I don't know. I don't know if I could be a Hawkeye fan if that happens. I'm just being honest. I've never said that in my life before. That I could not be a fan of a Brian Ferentz coach team.
I mean, I think they would legit lose season ticket holders.
Oh yeah,
if they made that move, man.
Right.
I joined in during the Iowa-Michigan State game. I joined in with the crowd of Fire Brian. It was fun.
Hell yes.
I'll admit, sitting there just screaming it. The one thing I thought was pretty funny though was how early it started. I didn't realize what they were saying until I was like, "Oh, I know what they're saying now." The first 3 plays of the first drive were something more even. Like just something exciting, like wow, it's working, and then it went back to Iowa of old, and like within 2 plays, everybody was just started chanting "Fire Brian."
Yep.
So I was like, "Oh, I know what they're saying now."
Hold on, they're saying "Let's go, Brandon." Is that what they're saying? That's got to be. I bet you he has a meeting with the new AD. Brian Ferentz says he goes in the office and he goes, "Ma'am,
I thought you were talking about Joe Biden."
No. Oh God, no, we don't need to go down that tangent. He's gonna do a little visual presentation. He goes, "No, ma'am. See, the kids, when something is good, they say it's fire. So what they're saying is fire Brian because I'm doing so good out here." Yep. He's gonna try and gaslight this woman into keeping his job. So you might be right, Joey. Maybe he's your new head coach next year.
Ugh. Gross.
If that was just a namesake thing, but he had no responsibility, your team would improve because that means you'd have to get an offensive coordinator.
Yeah, or he's just arrogant enough that he's both.
I like that idea.
No, not Brian. He'd never do that.
I like that idea.
Oh, I don't know. I would say I'll be honest. Out of all these games, even though I said Oregon State, I think I might want to watch that Purdue game because I think this is the year where it's just like Purdue just keeps doing it. It's you don't invade Russia in the winter, and you don't play Purdue when they're unranked and you're a top 5 team. That is, I don't know. I just have that gut feeling, man. I probably won't put money on it because I don't give a fuck about Big Ten football, but that that'll be one that's in the rotation, and I think I'm gonna. Do any of you have YouTube TV?
Mm-hmm.
I've seen too many good things, man. I've been trying to save money. I think that's $70 in multi-view, kind of like we're doing here.
Yep.
I think that's too good to pass up at this point, man. It sucks switching between all the channels, man.
It is awesome, and the only complaint I have about it is you can't select each box and pick your games. You have to go through a list of ones that are pre-selected for you. That's the only issue I have with it.
Okay. Well, do they have a free trial that can do this weekend? That might be worth it. I don't know.
Just sign into mine.
Okay. I'm not gonna turn that down, dude.
You didn't hear that.
Anything else? Well, I know we're running long here, but anything football else that we want to talk about? Others, I did have just 2 things for basketball here.
You want to see the goodest boy?
Aw.
Oh,
there's Durbin.
Look at Durbin von der Gartenstadt. What a beautiful dog.
That is Durbin right there.
He's got a cape.
Yep.
I got to full screen this thing. I got to see that. Man, that's a good looking doggo.
Yep.
I boop its snoot.
That's the goodest boy right there.
Have you said enough stupid shit about dogs yet?
No.
The goodest boy. There we go. That's the one I was forgetting. So, the only thing I had for basketball, Trent, you and me have been right for years. Kansas is a bunch of fucking cheaters. They vacated the whole 2017-2018 season. And Bill Self doesn't get any punishment. He took off 4 games last year. Yeah, he didn't recruit for a couple months. It set Kansas back last year. Is what it did.
Yep. Got to take that honestly, Final Four banner down.
Yeah.
Shame.
Virtually unscathed, though. I mean, are you shocked at all in this? I'm frankly not.
No, not at all. Like, I'd kind of forgotten about all this. Like, why does it take them this long to come to that conclusion? Like, wasn't this DeSouza on campus in like 2018?
Yeah.
It's insane.
Right. He could have graduated already.
Yeah, this dude, could have played his whole college career and been in the NBA.
Right.
I mean, it just shocks me that this type of stuff. It's like Kansas goes unpunished in basketball. It's like when Ohio State was paying players before it was legal, and they had minimal punishments in football. I mean, these schools, they're big enough, they're just going to get by with it, and we're just going to move on. I'm just waiting for the Penn State or Iowa wrestling controversy. Then we'll really see if it's a true trope.
Everybody got ringworm.
Oh no! They didn't sanitize the mats properly.
Yeah. God damn.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I would say I'm not shocked at that one. That literally just came out today, and I read it. I was like, oh, cool. So no punishment, no notes, just move on with it.
Yeah.
I'm ready for Big 12 basketball with the 4 Pac-12 teams, mostly Arizona. Just seeing how fun that league's going to be with Houston. Speaking of Big 12 basketball, the only other thing I had was it sounds pretty imminent that Gonzaga is going to join us as a basketball member.
Yeah, I was hearing quite a bit about that today. So these 17 basketball schools and probably just leave it at 16 football schools.
17 basketball schools. Jesus.
Yeah, well, and they've talked about, I don't know if they're going to bring a partner, and they always talk about how Yormark wants to get in the New York market. I mean, it really wouldn't shock me if they brought in like a St. John's. Honestly, what if they brought in like a Villanova? Close enough to New York, but it's a big enough program. I mean, I don't know. They were talking about UConn before the season. I'm just trying to think of like, I don't think they'll keep it in an odd number.
Yeah, that'd be weird. Yeah,
but
keep
they have to get a just basketball school then, right? So UConn's out of it.
Yeah, so it's like St. John's, Villanova, something like that.
What are you laughing at, Bryant?
Fucking Matthews every week here is asking me who's going to end with a better schedule or record, Iowa State or Drake. So I have to actually look it up here. Iowa State right now is 3-3. Sorry, Matthews. Drake is 2-3 right now. We got the better record. So
with a 70-7 loss to my South Dakota State Jackrabbits.
Mm-hmm. So you keep making that joke. We're just going to keep on winning games, and I hope Drake loses some games so we don't get embarrassed by this at the end of the year.
And then the Jackrabbits play Northern Iowa this weekend in Brookings. Ooh. It's Hobo Days.
You going?
No.
Oh.
Hobo Days?
Hobo Days is Brookings' big celebration. Like Visha's aim,
Yeah.
Hobo Days is Brookings.
So what do? Do you wear like 3 like trench coats and gloves with the fingertips missing?
Yeah.
And you don't bathe and stuff? Yeah, is that what you do?
Dress up as hobos.
You're supposed to dress like the lady from Home Alone 2.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dressed like
Pigeon
a hobo.
lady?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure Britt, Iowa also has Hobo Days.
They do.
I thought so. Nice.
Yeah. So I think it's like their home, like South Dakota State's homecoming. So
that's awesome.
So everyone's going to be walking around dressed like this.
Exactly. Yes.
Oh, and then I didn't even notice this at the beginning, and then you have the one that says Pierce Morgan looks like the pigeon lady, and they look pretty fucking similar.
That's damn good.
Oh shit!
Better Crazy Eyes from the Adam Sandler movie where he's a pizza dude.
Oh, Mr. Deeds.
What was that? He's like, I was looking at that squirrel over there, and it's a goat or some shit.
Yeah.
Oh fuck!
That's
Oh
awesome.
shit! Well, you guys got anything else, or should we leave it there?
Nope, I'm good.
No, I'm good.
Well, I'd say we do appreciate everyone joining in. It's always fun when we have the live questions, so we can not keep on our toes because I have all my stats that I want to say in front of me, so you catch me off guard with those. But appreciate everyone joining. If you can, make sure you share with your friends. Instagram, Twitter, Twitch at Heartland Pulse. Facebook, YouTube, Pulse of the Heartland. Share with 12 people, or we might be a few minutes late again next week. That's your punishment.
Yeah. Share it on your Facebook so all your Facebook friends can see it.
Yeah.
Matthew shared the Steamer Sooner socials. I saw the video they put out where everyone was talking mean about poor little Oklahoma had one bad year, so now everyone was talking mean. Put it on the socials. Tell them we're on their good side now. We have an expert here that's saying Venables is the top coach of the season.
And they're the best team in college football right now. I mean, why wouldn't you share this?
There you go. So, all right. I do appreciate everyone joining. We'll catch you next week.
See ya.
Bye.